We're back.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I apologize for being gone for a year. Life happened. Car got put to the side, but this year we're back. Coles County Dragway in Charleston, Illinois got bought out by some new owners. They've been doing some stuff to make sure the track's moving in the right direction. I'm really happy with the way the track's going. They've kind of moved away from doing just bracket stuff all the time. Now they're doing a good mix of bracket, index, heads up stuff, no prep stuff. They got all kinds of cool stuff planned this summer, and I plan on going to quite a bit of it. I'm backing up a little bit as far as I'm not planning on racing every single weekend like I used to, but I'm trying to make sure the events that I go to, I make them count. Not much has changed on the car. A little bit's changed. I redid the fuel system. Just fixed a couple things to make the car faster with what I have. Not necessarily making any upgrades, but just trying to make what I have work better. So I'll show you guys that here in a little bit. But first event, I didn't get to test or anything, which sucked. I just kind of had to show up and run it, but I was okay with it. What they've done is, for the Index series, they run this once a month. They have a 530 class that's basically the same rules as Little Gangsters, door car, small tire, no electronics, all that kind of fun stuff. Then they have a chip draw class, they call it, where the index is anywhere from a 570 to a 60 in 10th increments. So 4 chips go in a bag, somebody draws, and then the index is either 570, 580, 590, or 60 all day, depending on what chip is drawn. So if you're in that class, the index is different every time you show up. You're not going to have the same races every weekend. Gives a little bit more excitement. I like that for the racers. I like that for the spectators. The other classes is 650 Index, which is very similar to the Street Fighter class they used to have, which was 635. Most of the guys that ran that Street Fighter class are now running the 650 Index. Then there was a 70, 750, 80, and 850 Index classes. Now, I'm not super impressed with how it was advertised. It's a new event. Stuff's got to get rolling. I understand that they weren't really looking at those classes as moneymakers, right? The buy-in is less for those classes than it is for the faster classes. The faster classes are kind of more what's being run right now. I like the fact that they're trying to bring street cars into the Index world and hopefully the heads-up world. There's a lot of guys that come down on Friday nights and run Friday Fun Night, and they want to run their buddies. They want to see who's faster, but they can't because on Friday nights in the past, I haven't been down there this year, but the only lanes that are open is Hess and Tune. There's no heads up, there's no grudge racing, there's no nothing. So I like the fact that they're giving an event on Saturdays for guys with street cars to come down and race their buddies in a heads up with reason, with an index, but newer Mustangs, right? I had a Fortune Trans Am that ran 870. All of those kind of cars can get in the 850 Index class and just run all out. They're going to be right around that 850 number. So, lots to recap. Fortunately, didn't make it very far this race, but you guys will see why here in a bit. So, let me show you the upgrades.
Alright, so if you are a factory racer, you got your stock fuel tank, sending unit goes on the top. That's how I used to run it. I used to have to try to pull out of the top of the tank, had the fuel line run around here to the pump. I tried to gravity feed it from the top of the tank as much as I could, but these pumps aren't meant to pull fuel out of the top of the tank. So what I did, bought a factory replacement tank, and I'm a TIG welder by trade, so I TIG welded some AN fittings. One's here, and one's there on the front of the tank for a return. So basically what's going on now is the pump is gravity fed from here to here. Obviously, that's uphill, but whatever the level of the fuel tank is, as long as it doesn't get below the pump, should be fine. And then it runs all the way to the front of the car to a return style regulator, runs all the way back, comes in the front of the tank towards the top, puts fuel back in. I also put in a check valve, which I'm not gonna be able to show you guys, but basically if the car was ever to end up upside down, fuel's not gonna leak everywhere. I'm not gonna light on fire and pull a Ricky Bobby.
Hey, we got you.
I'm on fire!
Okay. It's all right, you're not on fire!
I knew it, you're lying! I'm burned!
There is no fire!
Come back here!
But something looks wrong. I mean, he's running around like he's on fire.
Oh my God, help me! I don't want to die! Oh, stop, drop, and roll!
You're not on fire, Ricky Bobby!
I'm on fire! You're not on fire!
Once you get up to the front of the car, engine's pretty much the same. Put in a return style regulator with new pumps, heat shielding, or new lines, heat shielding on both lines. I haven't remade this line yet because I got to get 245s, one for here, one off the fuel log to dodge all the coolant hoses and stuff, but I got to get those fittings, and then I already have enough hose. I'm going to remake that line as well. A new battery because mine was dead. But anyway, that's pretty much everything for upgrades as far as in the past year. Haven't done much because, like I said, life happened. Money got tight. But ended up some things fell in my way, and this year we're going to start back fresh. There's a few things I want to do to the car still that I didn't get to do over the winter. I want to address the power steering issue, which if you guys remember back when I went to Ohio for NHRA Division Finals in 2024, I kept throwing the power steering belt. Ended up being the power steering pump. Replaced it. It still squeaks every once in a while just because of the way the GM factory power steering brackets are made. Kind of sucks. The only way to tighten them is to pry against the reservoir. I don't do that. I would rather use a block of wood and try to get it to tighten, but you can't really get it super tight that way. When you got an engine that is higher performance, it's going to try to spin the belt on that pulley. So, guy named Derek Drake here locally. Some of you guys may know him. He's been on a bunch of drag and drives. He's got a yellow Chevy too that I'll show here. He makes power steering systems for derby cars mainly, but he also uses one of his systems on his car. The car has thousands and thousands and thousands of drag and drive miles. Never had an issue, never thrown a belt, never nothing. Also makes it way easier to adjust. Puts it up a little bit higher on the engine, which if you're one of the neat freaks in your engine bay, it's not going to look as pretty. But for me, I want serviceability, functionability, works every time, right? I plan on doing more drag and drives with this car. I got to get that kind of stuff figured out. But that, I'd like to put a new carburetor on it. Something needs done with this hood. I bought the hood this way. I tried to fix it when I bought it. As far as the body goes, there's some cracking where whoever put the cowl on the hood originally did a bad prep job, and the hood's trying to crack where the molding for the cowl is. So, like to get that stuff. The hood I don't think I'll get to this summer. That's probably going to be a winter project, but I would like to do the carburetor. I would like to do power steering pump, a couple chassis upgrades, and I'd really like to get a bar in the back between the rear shock towers and mini tub it. That way I can get the wheels sucked in underneath the car, get the car lowered down, make all the bars work. But enough of me yapping about the car. Let's get to the race. Alright, so like I said, they didn't do a great job advertising for the 7.0, 750, 8.0, and 850 classes. Kind of a bummer, but they're trying to do stuff to fix that for future. But how we did it to make it fair for everybody was we decided to make it a staggered start, pro tree, and you could run whatever your index was. So, if you were already in the 7.0 index class, that was your index. I was going to run 850. I knew that I could slow the car down to 850. I wasn't quite sure if I could get it to 8.0 consistently. So I entered 850. There was a few other cars. There was five cars total. So there was a white Fox body, Mr. Kevin Hunt from Dragon Dart Racing. There was a brown Malibu wagon that you guys have seen me bracket race before. There was a Buick Century wagon that I have bracket raced the guy before. I don't think I've ever bracket raced him since I started the YouTube channel. And then there was myself. So 5 cars, 2 wagons, 1 El Camino, 1 Fox Body, and 1 Dodge Dart. Mr. Kevin Hunt has been doing a lot of index racing lately. The 2 wagons are both bracket racers. Myself, used to be a bracket racer, not proud of it, but I'm trying to move more into the index and heads up stuff. This white Fox Body, I have no idea where he came from, know nothing about the car, nothing about the driver, but he was running 7.0 index, I believe. So, we had 2 test passes before first round. Both test passes, I raced that white Fox Body. So I'll let you guys see those 2 passes first.
A few moments later.
God damn it!
Alright, so test passes are out of the way. We were going to go up for first round. We drew chips to put us on a ladder. So once we were on the ladder, you could kind of see who you were going to race as the event progressed. I got Mr. Kevin Hunt from Dragon Dart Racing in the first round. Like I said, he's been index racing for the past couple of years. This is his bread and butter. This class was kind of 3 people getting together, myself, Kevin, and then the guy who started the whole event, Jim Crowder. He builds chassis, but he's a big index racer as well. So we got together, made up the rules for the classes. When I drew Kevin, I was like, well, now I got the 2 most experienced index guys here going against each other first round. This is going to get interesting. I didn't think that he could run 7.0 index consistently. I needed to slow the car down. Now, as you saw in the first 2 passes, I needed to get the car slowed down to an 850. On the second test pass, it pushed through the brakes. and caused me to be red, but it also shortened up my 60 foot, which then slowed down the ET. So I was close on the ET, but I knew that if I had made that pass from normal starting position, I still would have been in that 840 range. So I knew I needed to kill a little more. So I knew that going in. I knew that I was pretty sure he couldn't run the 7.0 index. So I just went into it knowing that I was going to go out on the track, watch for him, drive the stripe, and use some of my old bracket racer knowledge as I went down.
I wonder how long it took Kevin to polish those slot wheels on his car.
So normally in the 8th mile, I shift at 6,000 from first to second gear, and I let second ride all the way out the back. It usually runs through the traps at like 65, 6,600 RPM. What I did there was I short shifted first to second at 5,000, and I shifted to third at 5,000. I usually don't use third because it kills the car, but I needed to kill the car. So short shifted first, second shift, got to the mile-an-hour cone, saw he still wasn't there, did the only thing I could do, locked the brakes up hard. Everybody thought I grenaded my stuff all over the track, but it was just tire smoke. But broke out. He came back around, went to the pits. Everybody came over asking if I was okay. I'm like, yeah, it was just tire smoke, not a big deal. We haven't moved on. Kevin ended up winning the whole event, which was cool to see, that I lost to the guy that won the whole thing. I should have known better. I didn't realize he was going to be that far off. I thought he was going to run 7.0 something or low 17s. But live and learn. First race of the season. Now I know what that race looks like. So if I ever draw him again, I know kind of what to expect. I'm hoping to get the car down to 8.0. I'd like to do something with the brakes. Like I said, during the second test pass, it pushed through the brakes pretty hard. It's because I have a factory brake system in this car. The cam doesn't build much vacuum, so I need to get a vacuum pump so I can actually use my power brakes. Not only will that make me more consistent on the light, more consistent on my launch RPM, but it'll also hold the car. It's got a 3800 stall converter in it. Right now, I can only rev it up to like 2,000 before it tries to push through the brakes. So if I can actually make the brakes hold the car, we can use more of that 3800 stall, which should pick the car up. I'm hoping it'll get me pretty darn close to that 8.0 index. I can enter at an 8.0 index and just run it flat out. That's my goal for the next couple months. But race was over for me. I wanted to see what the car would run wide open. Back last spring, I fixed an issue with the throttle linkage that I had. The carburetor wasn't opening up all the way just because of the where the mounting point was on the carburetor arm. I got that mounting point up a little bit higher, which then allowed it to pull it all the way open. But I haven't been able to run that car wide open on the radials on a prep track since I did that. So I wanted to go make a test pass. This car runs better hot than it does cold. They made us sit around for probably 2.5 hours before I finally got to make my test pass. So the car was dead cold. Now, what was cool was I got to line up against Derek Drake. Like I said, famous drag and drive guy. You've probably seen him on Six Summer, Drag Week, like any drag and drive that's around Central Illinois, and I'm pretty sure he's even gone down to Florida and stuff like that. Twin turbo, LS powered Chevy 2. Car's just an animal. He drives that thing everywhere. The guy doesn't even own a trailer, other than the one that he tows behind the car. So yeah, I got to make a pass against him, which was pretty cool. Car runs mid fives pretty easily, so it wasn't even close, but it was cool to line up against him. So I'll show you guys that clip here.
from sick week.
Alright, so dead cold, fluid's cold, rear end's cold, transmission's cold. The only thing I was able to keep the temperature up on was the motor, which I figured it would be a good test to see if the motor's hot or if it's everything else is hot. It went 833. Now, I went and looked back at my old passes because I keep logs of everything. Found a pass with the same temperature, same DA, same everything. And it was about a tenth and a half faster. So, car goes faster. Sucks I didn't get to see what it would run hot, see what it would really go, but made me feel a lot better. We got some work to do on the car. Got to get some things figured out. But I'm really excited to see how this Index series goes. I'm also going to try to find some heads up stuff, some street car brawl stuff like that. Since I'm not racing every single weekend, I'm hoping to maybe race twice a month. And on that other weekend during the month, go find a track that I haven't been to. I'd like to go to Brown County. I'd like to go to Havana. I'd like to go to Cordova. There's a drag and drive in the fall that I'm aiming for desperately. Like, I want to go to that thing bad. Starts in Benton at I-57 Dragway, drives up to Wabash Valley, which you guys have seen me race at before, and then goes back to Benton. So it's a 3-day event. They do have an 8.0 Index class, and they have a dial your own. I'm trying to get the car down to where I can run 8.0 Index. That's where I want this car to sit for this year. Next year, we'll work on putting the car on a diet. Eventually, I'd like to put a different engine in it, try to get it down to 750 on motor consistently. But for this year, that's just not in the cards. So, 8.0 Index, if I can get the car down to that, I feel like I can be really competitive. I drive this car everywhere. The only 2 times it's been on a trailer was on the way to Indy for division finals and on the way to Norwalk, Ohio for division finals. The car will make the drive. That's not my concern. It was just being that far away from home without a bunch of extra parts. I didn't want to risk breaking something on the way there, right? But on a drag and drive situation, I feel very confident that the car will make the drives, make the passes it needs to. I just want to try to get down to that 8.0 Index so I can run that class at that drag and drive, which will also help me with the Index classes now at Charleston. But yeah, that's the plan for this year, and look forward to it. I hope you guys are too. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.